What's up, everybody? I am in my car, as you can tell, and I want to come on here and share with you about overthinking and how overthinking got me nowhere in truth. It was the illusion of thinking that it was progressing me, but overthinking really created a lot of energy. It required a lot of energy and focus on me thinking and strategizing and always thinking. My mind was always thinking and always just on overdrive. Looking back, I can remember when it started. It started that I right around after high school, kind of before high school when I started transitioning to college. And I can remember a family member saying, you don't want to be like so and so. She had pointed to this particular neighbor who had like I don't know, she had like 3 or 4 kids, and she just looked really like her life was very sad and depressed. And she was just like, if you don't create a plan, then that should be a motivation in itself, to look right across the street. And I just remember thinking it created this an additional fear that I had about life. And so I can remember also growing up feeling just afraid and to ask for help, to ask for money. It was something that I used as an overdrive or out of my fear just to make it in life. Can you guys relate? It was something that I used to make it in life. So I was always on overdrive. I made sure that I really didn't ask anybody for money. And if I did, I always felt uncomfortable because it always felt as though there would be this carrot, or they would use it over my head. And so I never felt quite comfortable to ask someone in what it seemed as though at the time to be subjected to that level of asking anybody. So I rarely ever asked anybody, and it created more of this fear inside of me. And not only more of this fear inside of me, but it also created just this overdrive of nonstop grind. And so when you're in overdrive, and when you're living in fear, and when you're in survival mode, and allowing your mind to lead you, it creates agony, chaos, sleepless nights, stress. You're always tired, and you're always on the go. Ooh, and that was me. I would recommend anyone getting the book called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It's really, really good if and when you are ready. You have to be ready. So, just putting it out there. If you feel led to listen, it's on audio. It's actually even on YouTube. But it's audio version, and of course there's also the live books. But I listen to the audio version. Is really, really talking about the power of now, and understanding that you're not your mind, recognizing that it really breaks it down into context. But what I have learned, so I'm not going to go further into that. You can go ahead and listen to yourself, but listen to it for yourself. But what I have learned in my journey of overthinking, when my defining moment, really for me, as I look back, when I told you when it started, when I graduated from high school, and it really heightened even more, or it shined more light on it when I went on my journey of healing and awakening consciously. And when I went on that journey with God, I still picked up that same habit, and I was like completely afraid. And God was showing me how to let go, and not only just how to let go, but really how to unlearn, and more importantly, how to be an observer over my mind. Once again, so I recognize that in one, like the mind does amazing things, and it is I don't know, it is, it loves, it gravitates, it feeds, it heightens when it is always trying to solve problems, always trying to, it loves that. I remember in the book, Eckhart Tolle talked about in the book when he said, that's why the mind loves crossword puzzles, because it's always looking to solve problems and things like that. And so I have learned, in short, to observe my mind, because God gave me a promise. God spoke something to me in the very beginning of my journey, and I thought that I had to fix, strategize, handle it on my own, and it was none of that. God gave me specific instructions, and I remember asking God what to do in a particular situation, and God said, do nothing. Now, that was totally foreign to my former sense of self. It was like doing nothing. What do you mean, God? What do you mean? Let me make sure I turn my phone this way so it won't overheat. I remember saying, what do you mean, God? What do you mean do nothing? Like, I have to do something. And I came across more unnecessary suffering and anguish and heaviness in my heart, because I was trying to fix it and do things on my own. And so I learned to let that go. I learned because I got tired of carrying that weight. And once I released it, I felt like pulled to listen to the audiobook of The Power of Now. And it really talked about how, like, allowing your mind to be still, and really coming from a place of observing the thoughts. And I can remember being so heavily on defense, ready, on guard, ready to, ready for the next thing to happen. Like, okay, God, I'm ready. I was like, no, you ain't got to do that. But that was just my stance for a very, very long time. And I really just became tired of that. And he talked about in the book, you really will recognize and stop allowing your mind to lead you, and stop allowing it to take you into the to a space of agony, or into a space of what he calls pain body. Into that space, you really will, once you recognize that you are tired of suffering, then that's when you will choose. And I reached a point in my journey where I was tired of unnecessary suffering, and I said, okay, I'm going to give this a try. And it's really, really, I found it very, I recognized just how much my mind used to lead me. I recognize that it loves to solve problems. I recognize that it loves to come up with answers. I recognize it all. And not to say that it doesn't, on my healing journey, that is not effective per se. It's helpful to find answers. But if you really, really want to be free, and if you really, really want to shift and change the healing journey of your life, stop allowing yourself, when I say stop thinking, of course the mind is going to always move, but not entertaining all the thoughts, right? Not entertaining all the thoughts. There will come a time, right? You will have the energy that you need. The book also talked about that. You will have the energy that you need to answer whatever you need to answer during when it's time for you to answer it. I didn't, because of my low self-esteem, or low sense of, because of my beliefs, I'll say that. I thought that I had to think ahead and always just be on guard and ready for battle, and just, no, that's tiring. Come unto me, all ye who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Rest is for your soul. But the thing I think is understanding that a lot of our uneasiness is up here. And when we entertain a lot of those thoughts, it creates pain. It creates unnecessary pain, unnecessary anxiety, and unnecessary stress. So it's really good to observe the mind, not needing to entertain it, to not judge it. It's just to be more the quiet standby, or the person that's the person that is observing it. And I really, really have made peace and continuing to make peace within this presence within myself. And you can do it now. It's a practice. It doesn't have to, I remember the book was also talking about how time is of an illusion, right? Time is an illusion. And so it's like, well, how long will it take for it to work? It's like, you can start now, right? I've also even thought about like the different planets of like, I was watching a movie on the other day, and it was talking about a robot that was that had lived in Mars for 15 years, and basically it talked about how there's different times on different planets, right? So the Earth has 24 hours, and I believe one of the planets, I can't think of the top of my head, was like 5,432 hours. Is really equivalent to one day, right? And so what I mean by that is, and then there were other planets that had like 10 hours in a day, and the other planets were longer, shorter. So that's what I mean by time being an illusion. And so when you say, well when? Well, how long is it going to take? Well, when does it come into effect? You can start it now. Now, the power of now is everything. And this is how we shift and change our what we say, karma. And karma is basically like just the effects of what we are projecting. The effects of what we are projecting, the effects of our beliefs, and the effects of what we are putting out there. This is how we shift and change our future. This is how we change the manifest. This is how we step into manifestation. A physical manifestation of listening within. And so when they say you have the answers within you, I have found that this is what that means. So once again, it doesn't mean that you don't ever, there will come a time where you will need your brain, right, to use and operate things and to solve problems, right? And then then you can take a step back and just allow the thoughts to be what they are. Does that make sense? Yeah. Stepping out of the way, going with the flow, letting go, and letting God. Let me know if this YouTube video helped you. I will be posting more content. So if you would like to hear any other thoughts or topics, let me know. Bye.